Hello everyone, this is Mr. Informal giving you my thoughts, analysis, and rant. Sorry about that, but I'm not really happy about it. But again, this is my thoughts, analysis, and rant. And so, Samsung had their Unpack event as of today, January 17, 2024, bringing out the new Samsung Galaxy S24, S24 Plus, and the S24 ULTRA. And I will be giving you my thoughts, analysis, and rant on the S24 ULTRA. Let me give you my thoughts right now. Underwhelming, terrible, don't even get it at all. If you have the S23 ULTRA, it's not even worth it. Like, I would not even get this phone. I mean, obviously, if you give it for me for free, I'll accept it. But there was no standalone hardware feature on the S24 ULTRA. The only thing, I guess, and this is going to be part of my rant, the biggest change is from the aluminum frame to titanium frame. And you know where that idea came from. But other than that, this phone is not even worth it. I don't even know why they released this phone or the S24, S24s. I know what they did that to obviously get investors and also let the mobile phones industry know that, hey, we're here. But in any case, it's an absolute disappointment. Absolute disappointment. So let's get to the specs. As I mentioned, they went from aluminum frame to now titanium frame. It's a little bit heavier. I honestly think there was nothing wrong with the aluminum frame. But in any case, it is using a Gorilla Glass armor and Gorilla Glass black titanium frame, IP68 dust and water resistant, and it comes with a stylus. It has 6-inch screen, basically smaller bezel with 2K display, 1440 by 3088, Android 14, Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. Storage is 256, 12 gigs of RAM, 512 and 12 gigs of RAM, and 1 terabyte, 12 gigs of RAM. So in terms of the camera, it still has the 200 megapixel f1.7 wide phase detect laser autofocus and OIS. And here is the biggest difference here, okay? A new lens is basically the 50 megapixels telephoto f3.4 phase detect autofocus OIS with 5 times optical zoom. And then going back is basically the same thing as S23, 10 megapixel f2.4, 67 millimeter phase detect OIS, 3 times optical, and then lastly the 12 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide dual pixel phase detect with super steady. Videos, it's 8K 2430, 4K 3060, 120 frames per second, 1080 3060, 240 frames per second with gyro EIS. Not only that, the selfie camera has 12 megapixels f2.2 dual phase detect autofocus, same as the S23. Can do dual video call, and video is 4K 3060 frames per second and 1080 30 frames per second. Yes, it has dual speakers, tuned by AKG 32 bits with 284 kilohertz audio. It will come with Wi-Fi, ABG, and AC 6E and 7 with Bluetooth 5.3, and it has NFC, and it does has USB-C 3.2, the latest and greatest version of USB-C. It has a fingerprint under the screen. Obviously, it has Samsung DeX and also support for Samsung wireless DeX. Not only that, the battery capacity is the same from the S23, 5,000 milliamps. You can charge it via wire, 45 watts, and then 15 watts wireless. And then it will come with new colors: titanium black, titanium gray, titanium violet, titanium yellow, titanium blue, titanium green, and titanium orange. Really? Everything's titanium? And then here's a big one. It is $100 more compared to the S23. It is now $1,300. Yes, you heard me right. $1,300. So in terms of the analysis, this is not gonna move numbers for those S23 Ultra users. They're not gonna upgrade. As I have, I'm not sure if you heard the news, but more than 50% of phone sales out there are Apple iPhones, not Android. And so Apple market share has increased while the Android market share in the mobile phones have decreased. And with this, don't be surprised if the Samsung market share also decreased and the Android market share decreased overall. It's too bad because Samsung is the largest seller of Android phones out there, and also they are the biggest name. They are the most popular. Not only that, what happened to Samsung's motivation of making fun of iPhones? Because now they're not making fun of them because apparently they are using titanium now. So in terms of analysis, it's basically monkey see, monkey do. Copy and paste, which is a shame. Unbelievable, right? And so many S23 users out there are not going to upgrade to S24 unless it's a great deal. I mean, most likely what Samsung will do is they're going to give a big discount when it comes to the upgradability from S23 users to now S24s. Not only that, don't be surprised, this is what I'm predicting, is that Samsung is gonna put S24 series, the whole S24 series, on sale after 1 month, after 30 days of it being released in the general public. Not only that, many users out there are still complaining about Samsung using their Exynos line, even though the Exynos just needs to be dead. But in any case, this is not looking good for Samsung. Let's get on to my rant. Number 1, why copy iPhone? What's wrong with aluminum? Why even go use titanium? Number 2, with the titanium name, why do you have to call every color name titanium? Titanium black, titanium yellow. Come on. Like, you have to be creative than that. Also, the design is lackluster. Really? I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it's much more squarer, or it's more square compared to, it's more rectangular than S23. S23 was much more curvier. But this is an absolute disappointment. Number 4 is the price. Why the increase in price when I'm looking at the specs? I'm strictly talking about hardware alone. There was no major upgrades. Now, if you want to say the 50 megapixels f3 telephoto is the biggest upgrade, but here's the problem. It's a f3.4. Now, if it was an f2.4 or f2.0, sure, but it's a f3.4. It's only great in daylight. It's not great in low light. Now, for this phone, why still offer the 256 gig? Why not just offer a 512 gig? Like, just remove the 256 gig alone. If you're gonna call this an Ultra, and I've been saying it many times, then use a larger capacity, or you know what? Put a SD card expandability instead. And look, I like the S23 because I'm not sure people notice this, but if you go to the Video Pro feature, you can actually hone in on where the microphone will pick up vocals. Is basically a stereophonic or a microphone location to pick up voices. That's pretty cool. You also have a microphone vocal filters in there, which is pretty cool. In the video pro section of the camera, most likely this will have the same. Now they're also saying that, oh, it's now 2600 nits of peak, but again, that's only in adapted screen brightness. It's not constant. Me, I like to keep my brightness constant. I don't want it to be an adaptive. I really don't like adaptive. But honestly, what's the most disappointing thing about this phone is just that you can see Samsung as a whole. The mobile sector, I'm strictly talking about the mobile sector of Samsung, has no motivation, has no more innovative hardware designs. Like they don't have anything at all. That's why they kept talking about AI in their Unpack event. How about have clearer voices during a call? How about that? How about maybe adding a radio, maybe? And maybe do something with the S Pen. How about that? Like make the S Pen bigger. I mean, not bigger, but better. How about change the design here? Why even go to titanium at all? Just use aluminum instead. Heck, I mean, why not make it, you know what, if it's going to be an Ultra, why not make this, market it as a good gaming phone? Well, again, why even go through this? So, honestly, I'm absolutely disappointed by this phone, as you can tell from my voice. But if you're looking to upgrade it, if you have an S23, don't even upgrade at all. And so that basically concludes this thoughts, analysis, and rant of the Samsung Galaxy S24 ULTRA. Absolutely disappointing. Most of the presentation was on AI, and I mean, and then they have the nerve to increase the price. Look, that's just me. I have an S23. I'm keeping it. It looks like I'm keeping it for a long time. If I have to make any suggestion, if you have an S20 and if you want to move to S24 Ultra with a huge upgrade, with a small upgrade cost, sure, get it. If you get this for free as a gift, sure, that's fine with me. But if you're willing to spend money on this one, don't even. Just go back to the S23 Ultra. And so, this is basically it for the thoughts, analysis, and rant of the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. I will see you in the next thoughts, analysis, and rant. Bye-bye.